Hey everybody, so I want to welcome you to my channel. For privacy purposes, I'm not going to release my name. I'm not sure of what pen name I'm going to use or what my channel name will be, but I just want to record this so I can get everything that I have to say off of my chest. I don't know what this channel is going to be about. I'm just gonna say what I have to say and go from there. So, I've been very reluctant in making a channel to discuss this topic because I feel like there is so much misinformation out there and so many people unwilling to do the research that's needed. And I don't want to argue with anybody because I'm very serious about this topic. I'm just all in. I'm just all in on this topic. So, as you could tell by the title, this is about Michael Jackson and leaving Neverland. So, reasons why I was also reluctant to put this out. So, I'm not going to, give it out, but I have a Tumblr account. Haven't been on it in a while. So, on Tumblr, I was tired of hearing about the leaving Neverland, so I decided to make my own few posts about how I felt. And I got tons of disrespectful messages. Like, disrespectful. I was called a pedophile apologist. I was called just all types of just the pedophile apologist. Like, it's hurtful to me, but it may not be the rudest thing that you've ever heard, but I was called some pretty mean things. I was spammed with messages constantly, and it was a lot, and I found myself constantly having to defend myself and things of that nature. And the thing about it is, I'm not sure why, as a Michael Jackson fan, I am unable to voice my opinion without being attacked. Now, I'm finding that more so Michael Jackson fans are being attacked than actual people who aren't fans. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So, Michael Jackson fans, in my opinion, are being more attacked versus people who aren't fans. They're not being attacked by actual Michael Jackson fans. And I'm a fan. I am a huge fan, like ride or die. Like, I love Michael. But there are some fans out there that will take things to the next level, and I'm not that person because, like, there's no reason to, Michael's all about love. So there's no reason for me to spread hate to show the love that he has. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I shouldn't go against what I believe is true just to prove a point. I shouldn't do it in that way. So it's really hurtful to me what's been going on. And I feel like the same way how people who don't believe, like the people that actually believe that Michael did it, like they have the freedom and the liberty to say that, then MJ fans should also have that right. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm connect all of this. I'm just annoyed, and I feel like this channel is going to be the opportunity for me to say exactly what I have to say. We're living in a society now where it's cancel culture. Those of you who don't know what cancel culture is, or unfamiliar, or don't really understand what it means, basically is if somebody does something wrong that socially we all agree that is ethically or morally wrong, then we essentially cancel that person. So we no longer support that person. And let's apply cancel culture to our own lives. Let's just say that we did something wrong. Should we be canceled? I don't think so. And I'm not applying it to pedophilia at all. But I'm just saying, should we automatically cancel somebody? Let's just think about that. So we're a part of cancel culture, and then on top of that, we're also a part of the condemn without reason or without proper research. And it's very dangerous. I find that to be very dangerous because we're kind of, in a sense, reverting back into old times. We're reverting back into the 60s, 50s, 40s, where people can be accused of something, they can be locked up for it, they go to their quote-unquote trial, they don't get a fair trial, and then they essentially serve time for it. We thought, now currently, we think that that's wrong. So why are we doing it now? Why are we doing that now? That is what I don't understand. How can we say that we're a nation that we, it's due process and that everyone has a right to fair trial, but we're not even following what we're so much preaching? Like, I'm not understanding that. We see other countries doing it and we condemn them and say, hey, that's not fair that you're doing that, there should be fair trial, due process, things like that. And we don't even do it for our own people. It's not right. So how all of this ties into Michael Jackson? Okay. Now, I used to go way harder in, researching Michael and things like that, but I found it to be, it's tiresome. It's very tiresome. It took up all of my energy, and honestly, it made me more angry, and it kind of deterred me. Like, it kind of put me in a position where I was more so getting angry and then rather than trying to defend, because this, I give all kudos, I give all, I send all my love to the researchers who really study Michael and know, all the recent news, because it's a lot. And I send my love to Michael's family because I don't understand how they do it. Excuse me. So, I'm at a point where it's like, I want to say something so bad, but why bother? Because nobody is listening. Nobody is listening. How is it that nobody is really looking into everything that's tied in behind Michael? Now let's because I'm not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist and things like that. Not everything to me is a conspiracy, but how can we ignore all of the things that's surrounding this label, this stigma that's on Michael? How can we ignore that? How is it? And Michael said it himself, that overnight, once he broke records, overnight they called him a freak, they called him a homosexual, they said he was a pedophile, things like that. He said that in a press conference, and I'm going to try to link that in the description box below. How is it that we can ignore that? Like, I'm sorry, but we have to listen first before you just automatically assume that he did something. Hear what he has to say. Now, he has said that he was innocent. I'm trying to find the word, but he's, spoke on his innocence, said that he was innocent. But in between that, listen to what he has to say. Remember, he said that they said overnight after he broke berries that he was a freak, that he was a homosexual, that he was a child molester, and all these other things, right? Okay. So let's add some more context and details to that. So, we already know 1993. He was accused of child molestation. That was the first time. Jordan Chandler. How is it that this is ignored? That Chandler's father was the one who set this whole extortion scheme up. I have the book, Redemption, by Geraldine Hughes, where she was the legal secretary for Jordan Chandler's lawyer, where she wrote detail how it was a media circus and how Rothman, if I'm not mistaken, was the name of the lawyer, how he was being so tricky and just being so devilish in how he handled that case. So that's one thing that I need you guys to read. There's also an article. If you don't want to buy the book, I can pull up and I can find the article and put in the description box from, I believe her last name is Fisher. I don't know if her name was Mary, but Fisher, I remember is her last name. And she wrote an article for GQ about how the 1993 case seemed like an extortion attempt. Okay, so we have that. Then we have for years, Michael, handled that case, settled, because during that time period, you could have a civil case precede a criminal case. So Michael was, swayed by his lawyers that he should settle the case in order to move on to criminal, so that whatever, defense they had that would have been used in the civil case would not be seen, so that they can use it in the criminal case. How is it? Now tell me if this makes sense to you, that a child, right, has accused somebody of molestation, and money is the answer to your problem. How does money ease the pain of that? Is what I don't understand. Molestation is not a joke. Molestation is not something that can be washed away or erased with money. You would want somebody to pay for the crime. Just like how if somebody were to kill your child, God forbid, and I don't want to put that out there, but if somebody can kill your child, do you want money, or do you want that person paying for their crime with their life? How does that make sense? That a mother, father would allow money to be a settlement for their child being molested, for their body being used, abused. How their child was being taken advantage of, power was put over them in such a disgusting way, that you allow money to be the answer for that? Hell no. That doesn't make any sense. So we have that. Michael's able to deal with that. Chandler no longer wanted to proceed with, I don't even want to say Chandler. It was said that criminal charges the criminal trial would no longer be taken into effect. Okay. Michael's living his life after that, doing what he had to do. Then the Bashir documentary came out, and all of a sudden, Gavin Arvizo says that Michael molested him. But guess when? Not before the airing, not during the airing of the documentary, but after. So you guys tell me, how does that make sense? That all of a sudden now suspicion is up in the air because of what? I'm not understanding. How is it after? So I feel like If we were to believe all of these things were true, right? That Michael did these things, we have to just assume that he's an idiot. That he's an idiot. And, you know, I don't operate in that manner. But I feel ultimately a person who thinks that way has to be very calculated. Has to do something super elaborate. Be very thorough in what they do in order for them to successfully do those disgusting things. If we're going to look at this and say that Michael did this, then we would have to say that this man was very sloppy. People use the argument that he had this man-child, complex, and having Neverland and always around kids that's I guess traits, or to show that he has the capacity, or to be able to be a pedophile. But in all honesty, I feel like that's really ignorant to say. Why would somebody who is doing a crime like that be so open with how they feel with kids, or so open in that way, and then do something like that? I don't get it. Somebody would have to explain to me, and I want to have respectful discussions and comments. How does that make sense? So, those are some of the things. Also, all the lies that was going on in the 05 trial, and the inconsistent stories, which is why Michael won. Not only that was the reason why Michael won, but there was actually no evidence to support the claims of the Arvisos. Absolutely none. Which is why Michael won. Okay? I am tired of the misinformation. I'm absolutely stressed over it, and I'm absolutely tired over it. I'm tired of going on Twitter and, me being messy. Every so often, I'm typing in Michael Jackson in the hashtags, and then I'm seeing things like things that the Michael Jackson fans don't want you to see, and it's saying that Michael had porn in his house. Okay, what's wrong with that? I'm confused. Any man with a libido would, or any person with a libido would have porn, especially a man. Especially of that age. Okay? Then they want to tweak it and say it was child porn. Why would Michael have child pornography in his house and he gets away with it? And if I'm not mistaken, that wasn't even one of the charges. That wasn't even one of the charges in the 05 trial. Child pornography was not even on there. Okay? So let's not go there and say those type of things. Let's not do that. So before we start, like I said, spreading misinformation, you need to actually take your time and research. I'm tired of seeing that lie. It pisses me off. I'm tired of seeing it. It irks my soul. It needs to stop. So any MJ fans out there, if you see somebody say that, you let them know that they make no sense in that claim, because that wasn't even one of the charges in the 05 trial. Having child pornography. Because that's automatic. He's getting locked up. Automatic. Okay. Now, I'm going to go into Leaving Neverland, and I'm going to touch on it maybe briefly Hopefully I don't go too long. It's already 20 minutes. I am disgusted. I feel like I said the word disgusted a million times, but I'm disgusted. I could not watch, maybe I got no more than 15 minutes from watching it. I don't even remember how long I got into the show. I just know it did not hit over the 15-minute mark. It was boring. It was very slow. And I feel like I was already biased because I am a fan, and you know, people already said that it was trash. And I was just sitting there just like, I can't with the drama. Like, I can't. It was super dramatic. Wade is super dramatic, and I could not. Like, I'm just like, no, I'm not entertaining it. And, you know, clips that I've seen and things that I've heard, I honestly feel more sorry, not just feel sorry for Michael, but I feel more sorry for victims of actual child sex abuse. Because how is it that you can twist something like that? How can you take stories of others and make them yours? Something that you did not live through. If you did, it was not from Michael. It was not from Michael. Okay? Not because he's this famous artist, because I love his music. It wasn't Michael because it just wasn't. Your stories constantly contradict themselves. The story that you told on Leaving Neverland was not what you said in your 2016 deposition, was not what you said in anything that you said in court, which was why your cases were automatically dismissed. Excuse me, not automatically, but ultimately dismissed. Because your stories it made no sense. There was no truth. And the judge saw that. And I'm sick and disgusted that you would make up stories like that when there are children who are actually trying to get away from what you're profiting off of. It's disgusting. This film was only made so that you can appeal your case again. Why was it that when you didn't get the Michael Jackson 1 show, that you decided you were going to sue? Because if you would have gotten that show, you wouldn't have sued. You probably would have if you blew through your money. But I'm pretty sure if the pay was good, you would not be suing. Why is it that the day, within 24 hours of Michael's passing, you contacted a dance show to say you wanted to do a tribute? Already showing your ass. Why are you contacting to do a tribute so like within 24 hours of Michael dying? What does that show? That shows greed. Then the messages of you asking for tickets to show up to Michael's memorial. Then you lying and saying that you don't know if you cried or not. How do you not remember if you cried at someone's funeral or memorial? You doing tribute shows. Then you saying that you're going to do the Cirque du Soleil show. And you didn't get it, and that's when you decided that you wanted to sue. And then proof of you emailing your mother, asking her for details of how did this, come about with you and Michael. When you claim to have remembered everything, but then guess what? Your ass was shown. And that's another reason why your case got dismissed, because it was shown that you were poking around, looking around, nosing around for information. Safe Chuck, who people do not get into much because nobody knew who he was up until he claimed that when he heard Wade on TV, that's when he just had a revelation. How is it that two grown-ass men, right? Now, I'm not saying that you can't forget or things like that, but how is it that you guys both have a revelation at the same time? How is that possible? That it just so happened that the both of you have a revelation around the same time that something was done to you. And then you remember all of these details. Very gruesome and graphic details. You remember them all of a sudden, but you had a revelation as a grown man. You're not going to be able to remember all of the details that you told when you just started to quote unquote remember things. How does that work? These people think, and and this is what I want people to realize, is that they want us to believe them. They want us to be uninformed. They want us to be stupid, to be so blinded by their lies. I need people to realize that. Then the whole of the, deception of the actual documentary. How is it that scenes were re-recorded a year later and talking about abuse a whole year later? You guys are refilming scenes, and then it's very deceptive because you're wearing the same outfit. The weather is different outside. You can see that, it's a different time period, different season. Furniture has changed, but you're wearing the same outfit. So you're deceiving people, making them think that you were there the whole time, sitting there in your freaking stupid ass clothes, talking about your alleged abuse, when in fact you had to refilm a year later. Then you lying about the train station, saying that this happened to you at this time, when the train station was not built. And now you have this stupid egghead ass Dan Reed talking for you, saying that the dates were wrong, but the abuse wasn't. The details of the abuse was not that. Your claim still stands, and that the only thing that has changed was the date of the abuse, which now the whole narrative has changed, because the point of the film was to say that Michael liked prepubescent boys. That was a tongue twister for me. Prepubescent boys. And once they've hit puberty, he moves on to the next one, which is why you put Macaulay Culkin and Brett Barnes' names in the film. So now the whole narrative has changed, because now your lies don't add up. I need people to pay attention. I need people to see what is going on. Because this is unfair. This is dangerous. Not just because it's Michael, but because what are we saying about the future of this country? What are we saying about the justice system? What are we saying about what we stand for? When we allow just word of mouth, we allow word of mouth to dictate how we view a person. How their accolades and how all the things that they've done how the history they've made, the records they've broken, barriers that they've broken, it's all what? Up in flames because somebody says something? We gotta do better, y'all. We have to do better. So I'm happy if you stuck through with me this whole 30-minute video. I so appreciate you. This was my first time actually sitting here talking into a mic, saying what I had to say, and it was honestly very therapeutic but also scary. I know my mouth kind of messed up a lot of words, but I just had to say what I had to say. So thank you once again. If you've listened to this whole thing or listened to part of it, leave your comments. Let's have a discussion. I appreciate anybody who's listening to this. Until next time, later.